Hello, Story Power listeners. I wanted to give you a heads up. Today's conversation with Karen Connell might be triggering for some of you because she talks about a severe attack by her ex-husband in domestic violence. And so I just want you to know that even though it ends in a hopeful way, what she shares might be triggering for you. So if you don't want to listen to this episode, there are plenty of other Story Power episodes that you can listen to. Thank you. Welcome to Story Power, a bi-monthly podcast where my guests and I chat about stories and creativity in all different styles and formats. My name is Lucinda Sage-Midgorden, and my goal is to promote what Dale Carnegie stated in his famous book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. He said, instead of condemning people, let's try to understand them. Let's try to figure out why they do what they do. That's a lot more profitable and intriguing than criticism, and it breeds sympathy, tolerance, and kindness. To know all is to forgive all. It's my firm belief that the goal of most creative people is to try to understand themselves and others. That's what makes artwork of all kinds so compelling. But more than that, the personal stories of my guests promote understanding as well. Roger C. Schenck, a cognitive scientist, said, human beings are not ideally set up to understand logic. They are ideally set up to understand stories. It's my hope that Story Power will help us understand each other better by sharing the stories of my guests. Okay, there we go. Recording is in progress. And today, yay, we connected. Yay, finally. Today, my guest is Karen Connell, and this is episode 98. And I talked with you, Karen, for Patreon several months ago. But your story was so compelling that I wanted to put you on Story Power. So, Story Power guests, just know that Karen's voice is, she has a challenge with her voice. So I will do the best to interpret if for some reason you can't hear. But Karen, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Lucinda. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy you're here too. Now, I want you to tell your story again, and like you did for my Patreon group, and tell the result and what happened to you, how that propelled you to do what you do now.
Wow. Okay. Well, I speak this way because my ex-husband slashed my throat with a butcher knife. And in doing that, he severed my vocal cords, along with numerous other things. Supposedly, I'm a medical miracle. I shouldn't be able to talk at all. I shouldn't even be alive because he severed both sides of my carotid artery and the windpipe. So literally, I was breathing through my windpipe hanging out through where he cut my throat.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, that was 40 some odd years ago. And while I was in the hospital, I decided that it couldn't have happened for no reason. I'm one of those give me lemons, I'll make lemonade kind of people. So I had been in that shelter. And I contacted him.
Okay, say that again. You were at a shelter, did you say?
Yes, I did this. Okay. I mean, my husband and I were separated. I had gone through a shelter, and I was living on my own with my son.
Oh.
At any rate, I ended up doing community education. about domestic violence back in the early and mid 80s.
Yes.
And included in that, I was in a statewide group that helped lobby to pass the first domestic violence bill to get police training. And then I was in the Attorney General's task force to help write the curriculum to train the police. And then I trained LAPD.
Wow.
But I had to make money somehow. And I also set up a victims task force in the city attorney's office.
Mm-hmm.
And that really burned me out because it just turned out to be too stressful to manage recruiting and training people to be in the task force in 9 different locations for the LA City Attorney's Office. Every week, I had to visit other locations, work with the attorneys, go through the files, because at first the attorneys didn't want anything to do with me.
The attorneys didn't want anything to do with you?
No.
Oh, why?
They didn't understand the concept. And apparently someone else had tried this once before and it didn't work.
Oh. But it did work when you were
It did. I'm happy to say they have an entire unit doing what I did now.
I didn't hear that last part.
They have a unit doing what I was doing on my own.
Right. You were doing it on your own. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that unit includes, or did include, people that I had recruited and trained.
Oh, I see. Did the lawyers Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they eventually came around. But initially, I had to go through the files to pull off the domestic violence cases and contact the victims.
Oh.
But by the time I decided I couldn't do it anymore, they were putting the files on my desk.
Oh, they were putting the files on your desk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So did you get someone to replace you, or did that whole program?
No, I went out on a stress leave and never went back.
Yeah. But did the program continue?
It did.
Oh, good.
And evolved into a full unit.
Oh, wow.
And that's what they have now.
Oh, that's so cool. You started something great.
Well, I did my best.
Yes. Well, I'd say if it's still going, that's really great.
Yeah.
Now, you do public speaking, and I didn't ask you this, but how does that work when you do public speaking and you can't talk very well?
Well, I did public speaking back in the day. I did a lot of stuff on media, radio, television, and they have very powerful microphones.
Ah, I see. Yes. I don't have a powerful microphone. So we're using your
apparently.
Yeah. So we're using your phone, which is working pretty well, actually. Yeah. So what else did you, how did you make money? And then did you do anything else after you left that stressful job?
No, when I left that, I couldn't do that work anymore. I was just burned out.
Yeah.
So I went back to the bookkeeping and accounting that I had done before.
Oh.
And I did that until I retired.
Ah.
And then my mother moved in with my partner and me. And I was her caretaker. And in the middle of that, my partner had a major stroke. So I was being caretaker to both of them.
Oh, my goodness.
And during COVID, my mother passed in 2018.
Oh,
And
yeah.
during COVID, I wrote a book.
And what about your partner?
My partner is still takes up most of the time.
Yeah. Okay. You're still taking care of him or her.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. So that's a lot of work. Do you have
It's a lot of work.
do you have nursing care that comes in and helps?
I do not, because I can't get her on Medicare. But through Medicare, I can't.
Okay, that's getting all garbled. You can't get her on what?
On Medicare.
Oh,
With Medi-Cal, I could get in-home nursing care.
yeah.
On Medicare, I can only do that if she's on hospice. And she may be getting close to that, but she isn't there yet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're going through that whole process with my mother.
Yeah.
She is on hospice now, but my sister she lives near my sister, my youngest sister, and my sister and her family decided they want mom to move out of the care facility she's in and come to their house for
It's easier
yeah.
and it's better for the patient.
Yeah.
Be in familiar surroundings
Yeah.
and surrounded by their loved ones. My partner was a hospice nurse.
Say that last part.
My partner was a hospice nurse.
Oh, your partner was a hospice nurse. Oh, whoa.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So I would not put her in a facility.
Right. Well, my mom wanted to have friends. This was, 2 years ago. And, but after her 90th birthday, her health started to deteriorate pretty quickly. And my sister needed to work and she couldn't stay home with mom. And finally, my brother got involved and they put her on Medicaid and got her in. She has multiple health care issues, one of which is dementia. So they got her into a memory care facility. But now that she's just gone on hospice, um, my sister said we want to move her home. So the next thing is to get 24/7 nursing care. So my brother's starting to work on that to see if they can get that through Medicaid, and then they can move her to my sister's house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she did used to live with my sister and her family before, but she didn't have any friends. I mean, she was just home by herself when everybody was at work or school. And, she was getting very depressed and lonely, and it just didn't work out the way we all hoped it would. So we're glad that she's going to go to my sister's house, but that's going to be a lot of work for my sister and her family if they don't get 24/7 nursing care. So
It's true.
yeah. Yeah.
I wrote a book. It's on Amazon. It is a teaching memoir.
Yeah, I forgot about that. What's the name of the book again?
It is called Beyond Surviving.
Oh, that's right. Beyond Surviving. Oh, yeah.
And the other part of the title is Take Back Your Life Using the Power of Choice.
Oh, right. Okay, I'm going to put that in the show notes. Take back your life.
Using the power of choice beyond surviving.
Yeah.
Take back your choice, your life using the power of choice. I can send you a copy of the cover.
Oh, that would be great. Now, wait, maybe I have a cover. I think I have a picture of the cover of your book. I don't have a picture of you, however, so I need a picture of you. Yes, I do have a cover. I checked your file and I do have a cover of your book.
Okay.
That I can put in the show notes too. So, yeah, that's great. Now, so you are retired, you're taking care of your partner.
Yes.
And are you planning on writing any more? Well, you probably don't have time to do that, to write any more books.
I write in an online magazine.
Oh, good. What's the magazine?
It's Medium Daily Digest.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm thinking about switching to Substack because I get paid like less than 50 cents a month.
Yeah, I used to be with them, and yeah. So you're going to go to Substack. That sounds great.
Once I figure it out.
Yeah. Do you have a like a quite a following on there? A list of
I have
people?
a fairly good. I get about 30 new followers every week.
How many new followers every week?
30 to 40.
Oh, wow. That's great. Yeah. So that's how you're doing your service now, is to write articles about how to survive domestic violence, right?
Well, I'm focusing more on how to help someone you know who's in
Ah,
domestic violence, because generally speaking, the women who are going through it,
uh-huh.
and before your audience has a heart attack, men also go
Yes.
through this.
Yes.
Not nearly as much as women. And most of their abuse isn't as severe, but it does happen.
Right.
I also have a website that
Oh,
people can.
oh, what's your website?
It is www.k
Uh-huh.
like a Connell.
www.k what?
A is in people.
Yeah.
My last name.
Oh,
Author.
okay, send that to me and I'll put that in the show notes.
Okay.
Send that to me in an email and I'll put that in the show notes. Yeah. And then people can still find you I found you on LinkedIn, right?
Yes,
And people can find you there too, right?
absolutely.
And it's just your name, Karen Connell, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes, good. I thought so. Okay, that's fantastic. Yes. So, yeah, my sister, the sister that's taking care of my mom, this is her second marriage. The first one was an abusive marriage. None of the rest of us had, because our parents had a great marriage, but she was abused. And she said she's a very strong person, and she said, I didn't realize I was abused until I was sitting, because she decided to go to see a counselor. And she's sitting in the counseling office, and there's a pamphlet, and she starts looking through the pamphlet. And it said, if you experience any of these things, then you are experiencing abuse. And she said, every single one of them was what she was experiencing. And it was a shock to her. It was a shock.
Yeah, we tend to think that this is just what it is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially if you don't know anything different,
Right.
Yeah. And the part of the reason why she was shocked is, she didn't grow up in an abusive home. We didn't have an abusive home.
Neither did I. I had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think that we have this thought in our head that, people who are being abused in relationships, domestic relationships, are they came from abusive homes, but that's not always the case.
No, it's not always the case.
Mm-hmm.
But it is in the vast majority because it becomes intergenerational.
Oh.
Kids who see this happening.
Yeah. Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Somebody has to be the one to break the cycle. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you don't mind, and you don't have to tell me this if you don't want to, but how did all of this affect your son?
There is an entire chapter devoted to my son.
Oh, in your book?
Because it affects the children. That's one of the articles I wrote.
Yeah.
On Medium. It affects the children terribly.
Yeah.
He was 6 years old when this happened.
Oh my goodness.
He literally
He literally what?
Got his father off of me.
Oh my goodness. So did he witness his father? Because you told me on Patreon that your ex-husband committed suicide. Did your son witness that?
Did.
Oh no.
No, he locked, but he heard it.
Oh,
he locked himself in the bathroom.
Oh.
But my son and a friend of his who had been over for the weekend heard it. They heard the noise. And having witnessed the violence that's on TV all the time.
Oh, yeah.
They recognized, they figured out what was happening. Because he used the same knife and stabbed himself.
Oh. He must have been in so much pain. That's all I can think of is, because we lash out when we are in pain. Sometimes we lash out thinking, oh, I'm going to get rid of my pain if I lash out at someone else, but it never works that way.
It never does. And I don't think that was the case with him.
Oh, okay.
This had been going on
for quite some time.
I put up with it for like 3 years and it kept escalating and escalating. Oh. And a friend of mine put me in touch with a shelter.
Yeah.
So I went there. I think it was more the case of if I can't have you, no one can.
Oh my goodness. Oh dear. Well, what did he think was going to happen with your son?
I don't think he thought about anyone but himself.
Oh, yes. Oh, man, I'm so sorry.
Well, I learned a whole lot from it.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Well, oh man, I'm so glad that you came on and you were sharing your story. We have about 8 minutes left. Do you have anything else you want to share?
I wrote an outline for my next an outline that I'd like to go through to give your audience something to think about.
Oh, good.
The working title is Things to Improve Yourself, Things to Empower Yourself.
Oh, great.
If you want a better life, you need to, 1, focus on what you have to offer.
Yes.
2, focus on what you're willing to do to get where you're going.
Yeah.
3, focus on what you love doing. and have fun with it. It all starts with you. And remember, emotional health impacts physical health, and domestic violence interferes with all of it.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
So that's what my next article will be about.
Oh, wow. That sounds fantastic. Good for you.
Now, what else am I supposed to send you?
I want a picture of you and send me your website address. And then I have one more question before we go. You told me that you were going to have your vocal cords evaluated or something like that. Have you gone yet to the doctor?
I did. Yes, I was there Tuesday, and they put a scope down my throat.
Uh-huh.
I actually saw my vocal cords for the first time.
Oh, wow.
And the reason that my voice is the way it is that only the top half of my vocal cords vibrate. The bottom half are so entangled in scar tissue that they don't work at all. But she said that a speech therapist will be able to help me.
Oh.
So I've got an appointment set up with her on March 1st.
Oh,
and I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, really. There's nothing they can do with the scar tissue?
No. She said, I only went because the speech therapist said she needed to have my throat scoped. So she knew what she was working with. I went with no thought of having surgery or anything.
Yeah.
And the doctor said, I would not recommend surgery.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do surgery because it could possibly do more harm than good. But she was amazed. She was amazed that I am as healed as I am. Because she said most people who went through what I go through, if they even survived, and I wasn't supposed to survive because I lost more than half of my blood before they even took me into surgery.
Oh, whoa.
But she said that most people who survive anything like this still had a trach in their throat.
Oh, and you didn't.
I had one.
Uh-huh. Oh, you did? Okay.
It was the only way that I could breathe while I was healing.
Yes.
I can eat, I can swallow, I can breathe.
Yes. Oh, wow.
She was amazed.
Yes. I'm sure she was. I guess you were supposed to be here.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, really. And you did something about it.
And that's what we're all supposed to do.
That's right.
You know, I think that if we all just learned to talk to one another and talk about what's going on in our lives, we would discover that we are so much more alike than we are different.
Yes, I agree.
And that would cross so many boundaries. But the people who have the media do everything they can to keep people separated.
Yes. Yes. I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Talking. And there are a couple of other things. I found this quote, and I'm not going to say the whole quote. I don't know. I don't have it memorized, by Dale Carnegie. And the very first part of it is, when you're meeting other people, ask why. Why are they doing what they're doing? Because if you're interested in that and trying to figure out that, then you're going to not be judgmental. You're going to understand, oh, I understand why they're doing that. I've been there before. That's a really important thing is, oh, yeah, I get that. I get why they're doing it. I may not have, I may not have acted it out the way they are, but I understand what they're feeling. And that's a really important thing. So,
It really is.
yeah.
It's and the last thing I want to leave your audience with is that this needs to come out of the shadows. It's been there for too long.
Yes.
It is the number one violent crime in the entire world, because I've talked to people from other countries and it's as bad, if not worse, there than it is here.
Oh, wow.
And here,
what Karen said here was that 1 out of 3 women experience domestic violence in the United States. Okay, we have less than a minute. So thank you so much for being my guest.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I enjoyed it so much. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you like what you heard, please share it with a friend and give us a rating and/or review on your favorite podcast app. It will help people find us. I invite you to join my Patreon community at patreon.com/storypower, all one word. Or if you like, you can subscribe to Story Power on Apple Podcasts. It's my aim to build a community where we discuss the stories we love and talk about what we learned from them. I offer extra audio content and story suggestions to my patrons on both platforms. Remember, as Philip Pullman said, after nourishment, shelter, and companionship, stories are the thing we need most in the world. Let's spread the story love. Until next time, this is Lucinda Sage-Midgorden. Thanks for listening.